from the horse's mouth. So, if you see the definitions, what innovation is, optimization, and business analysis is, we already have these definitions from the Wikipedia and the International Institute of Business Analysis and the Agile worlds, which talk about innovation, which means the creation of better or more effective products, processes, services, technologies, or ideas that are accepted by markets. And optimization means to optimize or make it next to perfect or effective or functional as possible. So we are kind of marrying innovation and optimization, wherein business analysis plays a crucial role. And what does business analysis mean? Business analysis, according to the IIBA, it says that it is basically a set of tasks and techniques which is used to work as a liaison among stakeholders in order to understand the structure, policies, and operations. Whereas, we kind of differ to this opinion here, and we basically say, the business analysis is kind of taking the next level, and it does not only is liaising in between the business needs and business stakeholders to the technology, whereas it also forms as a part of your enterprise or organizational objective, wherein the business analysis draws the ideas from the innovative through the innovative ways to identify the business needs and cater to the market in an optimized manner. That is what we are talking about. So all these definitions are self-explanatory here, and the punchline what we are trying to cover out here at the bottom line is, under the current ever-changing business scenario, the business analysis will increasingly need to manage change and become a tool for creative destruction. We intentionally use this word, a tool for creative destruction, and I'll let Ram to explain why we did that.
See, when we talk of the innovation, innovation comes in with both positive and negative impact on the business, on the stakeholders, and generally on the economy. Certain innovations bring in more prosperity, certain innovations, because of the very nature, they bring prosperity to one side and they have certain negative impact onto the other side. Let us look at many of those that have been there in this industry would remember what we had those days about 15-20 years back, what we used to call as pager devices. These pager devices we used to carry, it was a small mobile phone like a contraption which we used to carry with us. And anybody that wants to pass on any message, there was a service provider, you would flash the message onto it, and with a beeping noise, we can look at the message, and then we would call back from the person from whom the message has actually originated. So this was the pager device that was, even today we can see this pager device being used in large hospitals where the doctors and some of those people that support critical support areas in the hospital carry with them. So when the mobile telephony came into the picture, the pager devices totally disappeared. And the SMS world that was there, it is slowly disappearing in the smartphone world. So giving this example, you will see that there are multiple innovations that come into the market, which create some kind of a destructive force. There is a destructive products that come into the market. So in the case of business analysis, what we feel is the analysis itself has to be a proactive tool for looking at the likely impacts of the innovations that are happening in the market and create a proactive destruction within the organization or outside of it. So this way, the longevity of the company is essentially established. If we look at it in the market, there are innovations that come into the market. So some of them will displace what we have been thinking so far as the product. Going by another very easy to remember example, the picture tubes of this world for the TV that are getting used are slowly getting replaced with the LCD, LED, high definition TV, and so on and so forth. So this is creative destruction. Somebody has to be there. The business analysis has to be done to understand the innovation that is happening in the market and the way that it is going to destroy or modify or change the way that we operate, we think, we process, and then we deliver. So this is what we call as a tool, the business analysis itself as a tool for creative destruction. And proceeding to the next slide. Okay, so this is just a, we are adding on to what we call as creative destruction, more so in the from the viewpoint of the general market that is occurring currently. So this is a generic thing. No? Most of us, all of us would know that there are specific influences that happen over a period of time on organizations, technology, services, etc., etc. So the more prominent of them we have noted here. There are many, many more that we have not noted here. The prominent of them, in our opinion, are some of the economic influences, a few from the market influences, few from the cost or the return on investment or the investment side of it, and few from the end user expectations, the customer influences. So when I talk of the economic influences, the trade cycles, the shortening impact time for upheavals. So the trade cycles is nothing much. We did not have to explain it much, but a brief elaboration on the shortening of the impact time for upheavals. Gone are the days when there was an issue in one country and that took a long, long time to spread to the other countries. But today, if you look at it, in the contagion that happened in the Western nations sometime during 2008, was felt within a few months in all the countries all over the world in some way or the other, some at a high level, some at a low level. But the impact was felt very, very, very fast. And similarly, any innovation that happens, any destructive innovation that happens anywhere in any part of the world immediately has an influence on similar products and services anywhere else in the world. So that is the way that the world is flat now. So the shortening impact time for upheavals. And if you look at the cost influences, the innovation, the investment on research and development are becoming higher and higher as the day progresses. So we are spending more time trying to invent things. We are spending more time trying to innovate things that we have. The research and development itself is becoming highly critical and highly expensive. The operational cost, naturally, once we have a higher level of investment and higher level of expectations from the customers, naturally the operational cost also goes hand in hand with that. So there is always this, when you look at the profit and loss account of any IT or any industry, the cost is always increasing. The normal thing is based on inflation. The abnormal thing is on the investments that the companies make. And the market influences, look at the disruptive products, which I mentioned a few slides ago. I talked about the pager as one of the disruptive products that, the mobile phone that came on the market as one of the disruptive products. In competition and globalization, there is, once again, there is not much need to be said for this audience that are there that have logged in. Globalization naturally has its own impact, and competition also has its own impact. Competition within the country, outside of the country, across the borders, you name it, we have it now. So earlier there was a secluded or the protected environment that was available with most of the countries is slowly going away. Some countries still feel that we have to go back to the protected environment, but in our opinion, the protected environment is gone forever. We will have the easy accessibility to products, services, technology across markets, across any country in the globe. So this and the movement of such technology and the services and the knowledge moves faster than ever. So these factors, these four factors, the largely important factors, there may be many other as I mentioned, they drive the innovation that is there in the industry currently. Look at what's happening now. You have just to go by a couple of examples that immediately comes to my mind. The same type of a service or a product is given by multiple products. For example, let's look at banking. In banking, we have the customer-facing online banking that is done normally through the web or the internet, what we call the net banking. Similar services and similar types of expectations are provided through the mobile banking as well. So one innovation leads to the other. through this innovation, particular innovation, the banks are in a position to, by and large, reduce the cost of operations on mundane banking. Banking is becoming more of a service. Unless otherwise somebody wants to get a loan or do something specific for himself, most people do not visit the bank. So this type of amount of savings that is happening permits the bank to exchange, to engage in activities which are more market-oriented, customer-oriented, and ensure the longevity. So this is one example. We can think of multiple examples where the innovation is a driving force behind the longevity of any business. The technology innovation that is happening all over. Let's take the pharmaceutical industry. The innovative ideas that comes into force that make a business either run or lose. So the amount of investment they make on the research and development, come out with the new drugs, new capabilities of the existing drug. That is what is driving. That is what is the driving force behind the longevity of such business. So I'm getting into the next slide. I would request Anand to talk on the slide, please.
Yeah. As Ram mentioned, rightly mentioned it correctly, that everything revolves around innovation, and he gave a great example of the banking industry, which is now currently moving on to the digital world, and more people are becoming mobile savvy because of that. And the most appropriate example wherein business analysis has come into picture to create more innovative ideas using the existing technology or optimizing the existing technology. We can have this great example wherein the customers are now able to withdraw cash through the ATMs without the card, without even having their card, which is called as a cardless transaction. So you just have the one-time password beeped onto your mobile, and using that one-time password, you can withdraw cash from the ATM. So that is the greatest example which I can quote with the latest in technology, wherein banking is used, and the business analysis marries innovation. So we talked about enterprise, we talked about strategy, we talked about business analysis, we talked about innovation, and we talked about business analysis as a tool for destruction and destroying the existing new ideas, and also business longevity. So how do we do all that? We basically talked about it at enterprise level and at strategic level. So we have to now come down from a 5,000 feet to 1,000 feet level and see how do we do that. So to do that, we basically need two things. One, we need a technical expertise, and we need a business analysis expertise. So when both of these marry together, we basically get an innovative outcome and innovative solution. So in the technical expertise, we basically need strong technology concept, architecture and design. We need excellent methodologies and systems and standards set in place, which basically drives the technical concepts, and then explosive growth in the path-breaking technologies. We should have updated technologies in place, and the knowledge and the skill level in the organization to basically work hand in hand. Not only that, we basically should also have the business analysis expertise, adding that and gelling well with the technical expertise, which would be the business analysis having in-depth knowledge about the industry-specific trends, wherein he knows what is the latest things which are happening in the industry. He should have an overall competitive landscape, so that he basically understands, what is the landscape he is drawing, and what is the growth path for the existing product, and what would be the growth path for the product 10 years down the line, so that he can create new ideas and get new innovative things in place, and on which the technical expertise would work and get things and get a better outcomes and solutions. And last but not the least, we basically have the informal lines of communication with the end user interaction and taking the functional architecture, design and solution. So over here, I would say end user interaction and perspective would be the most important part from a business analysis expertise, because he would understand as to what the end user would require, and then have that documented in a way which the technology can understand, and then the technology can come out with new innovative ideas how to solve the business or business needs or the end user needs. So this is again a great example how the technical expertise would marry with the business analysis expertise to come out with innovative business outcomes and solutions.
Any questions that you have, I think the audience, that they can type it onto the system, and I will be in a position to answer those questions, please. Before we move further, I have a question for the audience. We would like you to respond to this question.
Is business analysis dependent on domain or vice versa?
The first question to you is, what do you think? Do you think that the business analysis itself requires specific knowledge of domain, or the domain without the business knowledge is not going to be successful? So which is more critical, or both of them critical? Could you elaborate on that and respond? Okay, so this is the first question. Would like to hear from you guys and ladies that are there. We are moving on to the next slide. This is